So Newcastle United 0. Arsenal showed a bit of fight. 2 back-to-back wins after the poor run of form we had in April. Martin Odegaard with a scorcher, if we're being honest. I don't think he hit that cleanly or that hard, but the precision, exocet missile, bottom corner, lovely jubbly, set us on our way, especially against runner play as well, Kenny. We rode the storm in the first 10 minutes. After that, that deflated Newcastle, but then they came back again, which we knew they would. And I suppose for a neutral, that was probably one of the best games they'll see this season because it was end-to-end, post it twice by Newcastle, bar from us, penalty overturned, goalmouth scrambles, off the line, last-ditch tackles. But ultimately, we actually showed a bit of character. Yeah, whether it's too little, too late or not remains to be seen. But what did you make of that, mate?
I thought it was a game of fine margins because it's just to say, Newcastle hit the post. If it wasn't VAR, they would have got a penalty. And then, the way we played was really compact. We kind of, I think Newcastle hit the post and the referee turned in the penalty decision in our favour, galvanised us, and it became a game of fine margins. Odegaard scored from like 25 yards, and you've got to give it to him. I've always been an advocate of 2 or 3 players getting at least 10 goals a season. I would say 15. But you think about it, he's got 15. Martinelli's got 15. Saka's got 13, and Jason's got 10. So you think about that sort of situation, and then you got Xhaka tripling goals. That is what we needed to do. But the game in itself, there was a lot of players who heroic and just stood there to the test of time. You got to talk about Xhaka. that time in the second half where he makes that, that tackle, last hit tackle, where it looked like a certain chance for I think for Wilson, and he got in amongst them. And then you think about that save from the header from Ramsdale, Newcastle hitting the post twice. If you look at Newcastle,
the second one from Isak when he hit the post, good defending from Ben White. I don't know where our centre backs were, but he put him off balance a little bit and he shanked the post.
Yeah, definitely. What's happened is that the manager deserves a bit of a few like grapes as well, because when he realised that Newcastle were getting down that right hand side, he substituted Shevchenko. He said, "Look, no thanks, but no thanks." And then you've got to give Odegaard.
My left back.
Yeah. Oh, you've got to give and first, and if you notice from when he came on the pitch, we were actually solid down our left hand side. He actually didn't play inverted. He actually played as a solid left back. Then it come down us. They had to go down the right hand.
And was involved in the second goal as well. He got in, read the ball, played it to I think it was Jesus round the corner.
And I think that's what the key was today, is that our pace and the counter attack. Obviously, we were disappointed that my guy and Trossard was left out of the team. But one thing about pace does stretch teams, and I think that was key today. Trying to be a bit compact, keep possession, and do what a smash and grab. But you can't really call it a smash and grab, because you think about that in the first half. Odegaard had a chance where he made a fantastic save. There was another chance in the second half. Saka had a great chance, and then Odegaard gave the keeper the eyes. The keeper makes a really good save, and then Martinelli
the way he sat them players down, they're sliding. It was reminiscent of Ozil against Ludogorets. And I even said it on the one. I said if that was Ozil, he would have dropped the shoulder one more time, fainted, and just tapped it in.
Yeah.
It's like, I know it's a split second. I'm not dissing Odegaard, because I thought he was superb today, but just a little bit of composure, one more drop of the body, bang, 3-0.
What have you say about Odegaard? And obviously, there were performances this season against West Ham, Southampton, and Liverpool, where he was rightly substituted. The game passed him by. Today, he showed a bit of fight, and I repeat what I've said many times. He is never ever going to be in Mesut Ozil's class as much as he tries for the rest of his career. But you can't tell me that this return is the sort of return that we should have been getting from Mesut Ozil. 15 goals this season, and in terms of assists, 7, 8 assists. So that's about over 20 goal involvements. I don't remember as Ozil having that in the season. Now that's not criticising us because he had a fantastic season in 2016 up until we ran out of steam. But the fact is, whatever you say about Martin Odegaard this season, he has delivered for most of the time. Obviously, in the key games, you've got to look at that, and that's probably what's going to cost us. But like the criteria now from the end of the season is get as many points as you can, win every game, and see where it takes you. Make City have to work for this title, and if City drop points, then be there. Make sure you're there to pound. So it's
do you
pounds.
think? Do you think we will win the next 3 games? We've got 3 more games. If we win them all, we finish on 90 points.
We have to. I think what's happening is that
would win us the title. But this City,
90 points. 90 points. Yeah, but the thing about it is that the sad thing about it is 90 points is highly likely to get you second place, because let's not forget in 2019, Liverpool got 97 points. Man City got 98 and won the title. Liverpool last season got 92 points. Man City got 94 and won the title. Man City on course, if they win every game, get 94. If we win every other game, it's 90 points. That is fantastic. But the problem is that, the fact is that you have to see where it can get you. Right now, I think, predictions and probabilities isn't what's going to do us any good. It's have-tos. We have to win every game. Whether we think or not, it doesn't matter what we think. We have to win every game, because that's the criteria we put ourselves in. We were in a position about a few weeks ago where we could probably afford to take our foot off the gas, drop a few points, and Man City will have to need snookers. We're the team that needs snookers now. So do you think Arsenal are going to win every game? Is a probability we can't afford. We have to win every game. We have to demand it. And
especially with the goal difference as well. They've spun their goal difference. It's gone.
Well, that's the thing. I think, we scored 80. How many goals we scored? 83 goals. But we've had defensively
89. But they've got a plus 14 goal difference.
Yeah, so that's another point.
The other week before we played them.
Yeah, so that's another point. So it's imperative that we win every game even more now, because the situation is that they got 82 points, and they've probably got about 15 points to play. The 82 points, they got 12 points to play with. 12 points to play with. We got 81 points. We only got 9 points to play with. So we need snookers. But the only way you get snookers is if you get a break, and someone misses. So the white ball goes in the pocket, or the white ball doesn't hit one of the reds. That's how we're gonna. That's what we're gonna need, and we're probably gonna need a couple of these snookers.
Well, do you think? Yeah, just to wrap this up, do you think, because they've got a big game on Tuesday against Real Madrid, who won the Copa del Rey last night? Don Carlo again doing his business. But do you think, because they rested, the team they put out against Leeds United was a bit of a mix and match, wasn't it? Right, and this is the thing that I always say about Pep. He knows how to work his team and manage his team. He's got some superstars there, like Mahrez, for example, scores a hat-trick, the next game you're benched. Yeah, whereas with Arsenal, we have got listen, people underplay our bench. We've got some good players on the bench. The problem is
that's the thing.
Manage that bench properly.
Yeah, I had an argument with a friend of mine.
Trossard's in.
Yeah, well, I had a good argument with a good friend of mine, because he, on the way to home to do this, he was saying that Arsenal's not ready, that we should be out with the Champions League, and he says that we can't compete with all clubs. And you've just reminded me, if you look at our bench, well, our bench now is strong. Trossard has been exemplary for us, but he can't get a game. He couldn't get a start. Tini is probably our best left back, but he can't get him. Partey has been our best player this season, apart from the last few games. He can't get a game. So, and he's not even fit. If he's fully fit, arguably he starts over Jorginho. But Jorginho's just come in, last 2 games, been flawless. Brilliant. And he's given us a platform. So you can't use that argument that we're an inferior side
the thing is, people can say
we are inferior.
We are inferior.
Because they've got better players. They've got a better team.
Yeah.
But the fact is that
if we'd done our jobs properly, which is what Trossard said on Sky Sports, if we had done our jobs, if we had beaten Liverpool from 2-0 up, West Ham from 2-0 up, and should be beating Southampton at home, we could finish on 96 points. We'd still
Well,
be
you
top
think that,
now.
and that's the thing.
And
6
even
points.
if they win their
You
game
think
in
about,
hand, there'd still be 2 behind us. We'd be 5 clear right now.
and that's the thing. We got 80. We got 81 points now. In essence, we should have 87. Because we haven't got 87 points, that is what's good. That's what's primarily going to cost us. I say it once, say it a thousand times. We should celebrate his victory, but I refuse to accept anything other than the fact that the Liverpool games, the West Ham game, and the Southampton game, before those games were 8 points ahead. You should be seeing it through. And I think what's going to happen right now is that it's going to be in the back of our minds, but we have to have a situation where we have to have definites and demand definites. Probabilities, do you think we're going to win? That's just not, that's left hand now. We have to win the game. But at the end of the season, that's another debate. That's another podcast. But right now, we've got to see where it takes us. Win all our games, get you 90 points, and then see where it takes you. If it's good enough, normally it's good enough to, to win you the title. Unfortunately, we're a team that's probably one of the best Premiership teams of all time, probably better than the teams that we've had to win the leagues, and probably rivals one of Fergie's teams. Some people think it's better, but the fact is that they create a bit of dynasty, and but the fact that they create a dynasty is no excuse for us not challenging this season and next season. We've got to do it again.
Facts. And
no
on that
excuses.
bombshell, follow Kenny Ken 1972. We're going to do play ratings. I'm going to do Jez and Steve, and we're out of here. Adios.